Oh yeah, my display of Bayonet appreciation isn't over yet, because now I've gone and made a regional form, which I will show off after this little introduction. In case you missed the last video, I went over how Bayonet is my second favorite Pokemon of all time, and talked about how it should be buffed. Go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it. But there's another way to buff Bayonet, a way I didn't mention in that video, and it's a regional variant. Now let me state my feelings about regional variants. Since the 6th generation, Game Freak has introduced gimmicks for each generation that only stuck around for that generation. Gen 6 had Megas, Gen 7 had Z moves, and Gen 8 has Dynamax and Gigantamax. Each of these gimmicks are only around for their respective generations, before taking a backseat in the next generation at best, or completely left behind at worst, which I honestly don't like. If Game Freak isn't willing to stick with the gimmick, then they honestly shouldn't waste development time making them. I mean, Pokemon games are able to go 5 generations without generational gimmicks before Gen 6, so why can't they survive without them now? But then there's regional variants. Regional variants were introduced in Sun and Moon and were instantly liked by players. You know, aside from the fact that only Kanto Pokemon received regional variants, I love them too. They bring new life into an older Pokemon and make the world feel more alive. I guess a slight problem I have with regional variants introduced in Sword and Shield is that they are given evolutions, but not the original Pokemon. But it's not too big of a problem, even if I miss later gen evolutions. So now, we get to the regional Bayonet variant I made. I made this regional variant as another way to buff Bayonet. While I prefer base Bayonet get a buff, a regional variant is something I'd like to see too. So here we go with my regional Bayonet. This Bayonet stands at 3 feet 10 inches and weighs 27.6 pounds. And most importantly, goes from a pure ghost type to a ghost fighting type. Right now, the ghost fighting type is unique to Marshadow, but the problem with that is that Marshadow is a mythical Pokemon, so that epic ghost fighting typing is not accessible to most players, especially not in a normal playthrough. So the regional Bayonet I made is a ghost fighting type. So like Marshadow, my regional Bayonet is weak to Flying, Ghost, Psychic, and Fairy, resists Poison, Rock, and Bug, with the Bug resistance being a 4 times resistance, and is immune to normal and fighting. Fun fact, there is no currently used type combo that resists both Ghost and Fighting, making this Bayonet have an incredible typing for stab attacks. As for my regional Bayonet's abilities, Insomnia is still one of its base abilities, since it's pretty iconic for Bayonet, and Cursed Body is still its hidden ability, but Bayonet's other ability, Frisk, has been replaced with Moxie. With Bayonet now being a ghost fighting type, and the new lore this Bayonet has, which I'll get to in a bit, I think that Moxie is a great ability for this Bayonet to have. And here we also see what my regional Bayonet's shiny looks like. It should be pretty easy to see what I did. I simply swapped the original Bayonet's color palette for the one of the original Bayonet. And the original Bayonet's gloves have a similar color palette to what the shiny of the original Bayonet looks like. Now for Bayonet's new lore. Here are the 2 Pokédex entries I came up with. The first entry would read, this version of Bayonet was one awakened not from animosity towards its previous owner, but by its love and desire to reunite with them once again, in their past life as a doll. This Bayonet was separated from their child by means that was out of the child's control. Then the second dex entry reads, back when it was an ordinary doll, Bayonet was taken away from his child against the child's wishes. Bayonet then awakened and travels the globe, endlessly searching for their child to be reunited once again. It is believed that Bayonet will be able to rest in peace when they are reunited. So basically this Bayonet is meant to be a bit of a foil to classic Bayonet. While the original Bayonet was awakened by animosity, this Bayonet was awakened by love. So now on to the stats. The original Bayonet stats are 64 for HP, 115 for attack, 65 for defense, 83 for special attack, 63 for special defense, and 65 for speed. This Bayonet's stats are 64 for HP, 115 for attack, 53 for defense, 78 for special attack, 50 for special defense, and 95 for speed. The way I came up with these stats was by taking 12 base points from defense, 5 base points from special attack, and 13 base points from special defense. To get 30 base stat points, I could give all to Bayonet's speed. While Bayonet does become more frail than it already was, this new speed stat will allow Bayonet to, you know, actually outspeed opponents. With this, Bayonet can truly act as a glass cannon that can hit any opponent it outspeeds with its amazing base 115 attack. And here we go into my regional Bayonet signature move, Phantom Strike. If you watched my last video, then you already know about this move, since it was one of the ways I thought Bayonet could be buffed. But to go over it again, Phantom Strike is a base 80 power physical ghost type move with 100% accuracy, 5 PP, and +2 priority. making it Ghost type extreme speed. But there are other moves this Banette can learn. After all, it's part fighting type now. So what fighting type moves can this Banette learn? Well, for physical fighting type moves, Banette can learn powerful moves like Brick Break, Mach Punch, Cross Chop, and even Close Combat. For special fighting type moves, Banette can learn Vacuum Wave and Focus Blast. Because Banette should learn stat buffing moves, Banette can learn Bulk Up, and also Work Up and Hone Claws, which I know aren't fighting type moves, but I think Banette should learn them. My original Banette's evolution method is exactly the same as base Banette. Just slow up Shepard to level 37 and boom, you got Banette. Though this Banette, being original variant, would have to evolve in its home region to get this Banette. So that's about it for my original Banette. I hope y'all enjoyed hearing about it, and let me know if you would use this Pokemon. And don't worry, the next video won't be about Banette if you're already sick of hearing about it. I'll just worship this Pokemon on my own time. Also, be on the lookout for more original variants, and even completely new Pokemon that I may make in the future. I really liked making this regional Banette, and would like to make more videos like this one, so I hope you all look forward to that. Have a nice day!